now let's talk decimals. Let's talk adding and subtracting decimals. So the most important thing when you are adding and subtracting is the location of this decimal point. When you add and subtract, you must line them up. Repeat that again, you must line them up. So when you are lining them up, when you are stacking on top of each other, you need to have those decimal points in the same line. And I know it's very tempting to line it up like this, but that will not give you the correct answer because you're adding down and you are going to be adding the wrong place values. So you're supposed to be adding the 3 and the 5 because they're both in the tenths place, but in that case, you would not be. So that is why we line them up so that we make sure we are adding the same place values to each other. So this first one, there is no number here, so you can insert a 0 as a placeholder if you'd like. 0 plus 2 is going to be 2. 5 plus 3 is 8. You bring down your decimal point, and then you have 2 plus 0, which is 2. So when you're adding and subtracting fractions, make sure you line up that decimal point. Very, very, very important. So let's look at a subtraction problem really quick. All right, so let's do like 7.5 minus 0.21. Okay. All right, again, you must line up the decimal points. Must line up the decimal points. So when we are lining it up, that is what it's going to look like. Again, since there is no number initially right there, you can insert a 0 as a placeholder before you actually begin your subtraction. So I can't take 1 away from 0, so I have to borrow. 10 minus 1 is going to be 9. 4 minus 2 is 2. Bring down your decimal point, and 7 minus 0 is 7. So my answer is going to be 7.29 because my decimals are all in the same line. So make sure when you are adding and subtracting decimals that you line up the decimal point, please.